Thanks for meeting with us, you guys. Would you mind introducing yourselves?
Yeah, my name is Edwin Salcedo. I'm the Undergraduate Student Body President at USC.
And you are?
My name is Chelsea Zhang, and I'm the Director of Business Relations for the Student Government.
What do you think is like the most important thing that you do as parts of the student government?
Yeah, so we like to say we shape the undergraduate experience. That's kind of our motto, and it's because we shape it in the sense that our advocacy efforts, our funding efforts for student organizations or programming really help to create an experience outside of the classroom, and we're big people on empowering students beyond the classroom experience. So we get a $2.5 million budget, so it's an unlimited supply of money in some ways to really create what we want to do, and that's all of our programs are completely student run, and to have that power and that autonomy to be contacting agents for artists and being able to, my sophomore year I met Jessica Alba, right? So like things like that are like such cool experiences that not many college students can say they had, and so I think we really pride ourselves in that.
Would you tell us a little bit about what your roles entail?
So my main job is to connect our internal organization with external brands.
What do those partnerships look like?
Yeah, so I think the best example would be every year we have two major concerts, one in the fall and one in the spring, and Spring Fest is coming up, and we are going to have people like Monster, Energy, hopefully Spotify to come, and they'll set up a tent and create either an experience, bring products, or donate monetary donations to help with the production of the event. We have so many events, concerts, festivals, food festivals, large name speakers come. We kind of just do whatever the students want.
Why did each of you initially join the student government?
So for me, as a freshman, I loved going to events, and I lived right in the middle of the main quad. And the first week I came here, I remember there was like a giant welcome back concert, and so just seeing that and it was all free for students. Like they had big name like DJs come, lots of free food, and that just got me so excited about college. I was like, I need to get involved with whoever's putting this on.
Very cool.
Yeah, so I've always been involved in student government since high school. I was senior class president there, and naturally I wanted to really get in touch at USC as well. I actually started with the Political Student Assembly, so I'm a political science major, and really wanted to bring political events to campus. And so I got involved as an e-board member, and then became a director, and kind of just went up from there. So my second year in student government, I was an executive board member, and then I decided to run for president.
What advice would you have for high school students who are involved in student government, who are not involved in student government, who are thinking about getting involved in college?
In terms of advice is really find your niche, right? Try to find your passion and grow in it. My first time trying to join student government, I absolutely hated it. I was like, this is not for me. It's completely different from the work that I was doing back in high school, and that's because I started joining the advocacy branch, and now I'm 180 degrees where I'm constantly advocating, but I found my niche at the beginning through programming, because I was passionate about putting programs for other students, and so I slowly switched to the advocacy and started where I first initially hated it. But I think it's sticking through it if it's something that you really want to do, and finding your passion within that.
Awesome. Are there any cool perks that you guys get as part of the student government?
Tons, I feel like. It's the best part. Well, you get to be a part of so when there's big speakers that come, whenever you have concerts, you get to meet the artists, you get to work with these brands directly. I think that connection is just invaluable, and I've personally loved that aspect. I feel like it's the people you get to work with, it's phenomenal, and you get so much insight into what happens behind the scenes, which is really cool.
Yeah, like I said, I met Jessica Alba. I have a selfie with Hillary Clinton, but all of those things were through student government, right? And I think the biggest perk of it all is just what you take away from it in terms of leadership abilities, and you face so many challenges along the way, but you really grow as a person. And I think that I look at people who started, Chelsea and I started as sophomores, and now we're in our senior year, and to see how we've been able to grow and the types of how we were able to develop and how this is going to play into our future careers, I think that in itself is a huge perk of getting involved.
So are you considering going forward, using these experiences in a corporate setting or in a business setting?
Yeah, for me, if I'm doing business relations, what I love reaching out to companies and working with them, and so I feel like there's been a lot of opportunities for me to continue partnering with these companies that I'm already reached out to, and they're always looking for ways to like have marketing, like more marketing channels. And so like for me, I've been interested in marketing and business, the business side of it. So for me, it's been pretty relevant.
What's the best thing about student government and what's the worst thing about student government?
So for me, the best thing is making an impact on someone that you didn't know you were making an impact on, right? And so, for example, last year I worked to create a scholarship fund to help students who are from low-income backgrounds be able to get involved without having to worry about working on campus, so without having to make that choice. And I got an email from a professor who I had never met before that was just like, I read about this on the newspaper and I wanted to reach out and congratulate you because I think you're making an impact on a lot of students at USC for generations to come. And so that was really touching for me to know that someone was taking notice in the work that we were doing. At the same time, I think that one of the worst things that happens oftentimes is that the work that we create oftentimes doesn't get recognized, right? So for example, all students on campus have free Ubers from 7 p.m. to 2 a.m. That was work over student government, but oftentimes no one knows. It's just, and that comes with public service. So I wouldn't say it necessarily brings us down because we know that we're working for the better of other people, not for our own self-recognition. But it can get frustrating when people only see the bad things and not the good.
What is your favorite USG memory?
This is really small, but a while ago, one of our committees decided to boost like morale during study nights, which is like when everyone's studying for finals. And we just made little goodie bags from USG and like ran throughout the libraries and handed them out. And I just loved it because like people were whispering like, oh my gosh, I love USG for doing this. And then we have like Yik Yak, which is like an app, kind of like an anonymous app. And I like went on it after, and it's like all these just like positive comments about like, wow, they really care. I just like little things like that. I remember that moment.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah, it was funny.
You had a goodie bag.
Yeah.
You're all stressed.
Yeah.
I think, so we try to build a team, and so we used to have this thing called PB Halloween, where for Halloween everyone had to draw a random, pull a random little card, and that's what you were dressing up as regardless of what you pulled. And so there's a lot of like very interesting suggestions, but just seeing everyone come together, right? You see them working so hard and being so passionate about their own issues, and having them come together and just enjoy some time outside of the office as friends, and really creating that, making that your friendship. I think some of my best friends are in USG, not because I told them to join, but because we became best friends in the organization. That's one of the things I'm going to take away from here.
If you're interested in hearing more about the world's top universities, don't forget to subscribe.